Welcome back to Maiden Lane Medical Women's Health Weekly. We're here with Dr. Daniel Hochman, who is a psychiatrist in Austin, Texas, and is an expert in addiction, treatment, living a healthy lifestyle, and making positive changes in a holistic way that will last forever. So you mentioned alcohol, and we're all dealing with something that no one's ever really had to deal with before in modern times, which is kind of being stuck at home, maybe a little bit bored, maybe certainly a whole lot anxious, and alcohol's a soother for many people in that situation. I want to ask the question specifically, are women in general more susceptible to, and kind of, yeah, I guess we kind of break that into two categories, the sort of substance abuse addictions and then the non-substance abuse addictions or compulsions. What's the difference there, and are women more susceptible to those problems?
Yeah, well, the good news for women is women do have lower rates of addiction kind of across the board, no matter the substance, including alcohol. Women tend to have lower rates of addiction. There can be some question around the validity of surveys that you get because, if men are a little more sort of proud of their drinking or something and women aren't, you might not have completely accurate data. But for the most part, we do know men have addiction at higher rates. That gap has been closing for alcohol. So it has become much more, for better or worse, as times become more equitable for men and women. Women are having an easier time drinking and talking about their drinking and having book clubs where they drink and all that. So women drink nearly on par with men. Younger women, like high school age, actually are now having higher rates of drinking than men. And the number right now is around 1 in 6 women struggles with drinking, like binge drinks. So it's extremely common in women. So alcohol has become more similar. Drugs, that has still not caught up, and hopefully, goes down in absolute numbers for everybody. But yeah, alcohol, since it's become a little bit more socially acceptable for women to drink, that's been a bad thing in some ways.
Right, if it's become more socially acceptable for women to go out and binge drink, we certainly hear about that at the college level, but I imagine that has the potential to translate into adulthood. One of the sort of societal changes that has come to the fore in recent years is women in the workplace, and women having more senior management and executive positions, and those jobs may typically be associated in and of themselves with more drinking, more entertaining clients, more getting out there, with spending more time with men who may be drinking heavily, and they may feel a pressure at work to keep up. So that's an interesting trend that we're seeing, and I wonder how it'll play out. And I wonder what type of services and what type of help women are getting. Yeah, the question is, who's bringing this topic up? Are women talking about addictive behaviors at their primary care visits? They're certainly not showing up at a psychiatrist and just saying, "Hey, I'm addicted to X." They usually get to the psychiatrist, as you mentioned earlier, when there's a problem.
And the strain on women is so great now because there is an expectation to be both now sort of a career woman and still be mom. And women hold this, notion and sort of ideal in their mind of wanting to be kind of what they imagined growing up as like this amazing mom. But this new societal shift of women, still having, full-time work, leadership roles, and all that. So it's an impossible task. And what happens when any population, deals with an impossible task? Something's got to give. And addiction is part of that picture. When things give, that's the buffer, right? You've had a terribly long day or not enough time to process something, just life challenges. And what happens? Well, it's not necessarily that you drink. It could be could be harder drugs, could be that you overeat, but there's going to be some process there as the give. You can say go exercise, go for walks and things, but those only go so far for people that are put through enough challenge. You can, when you're when you're disciplined at work and you're disciplined at home, and then someone's saying, well, to treat that stress, go do something else disciplined and go work out, let's say, it doesn't really provide this release valve. And that's what I see, is people need that still. And that's a reality. A lot of people, when you say, what are people talking about? Nobody talks about that. That what do you do as a person when you still have no release? You have no way to buffer life's challenges.